In a time when, thanks to COVID-19, the world is collectively feeling stressed and like a pressure cooker, we all feel as though we're about to burst at the seams with a global cabin fever, along comes a Canadian expat musician who produces a sound that can only be described as nothing short of therapeutic. Pieces more broken than before. Today on the Canadian Expat, we are delighted to welcome Meiwa. Originally from BC, she now calls Melbourne, Australia home. With lyrics that are thought-provoking, her unique mix of folk, R&B, and soul is as gentle as it is rhythmic, soothing and light. In the short time since first being introduced to her music, it has become a staple in our home every morning around a cup of coffee. Meiwa's velvety smooth vocals are a breath of fresh air. The only complaint is that her songs end. And if you can't tell, I've become a fan. Meiwa, thank you for what you do and welcome to the Canadian Expat.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so flattered. I'm sure I'm blushing.
Yeah, in the intro, I mentioned that your music is therapeutic, and it's not a coincidence that in the past you were actually a music therapist.
Yeah, I still am actually. I practice here in Melbourne.
So, in a time of deep uncertainty and extreme stress around the world, you truly are a breath of fresh air. Thanks for doing what you do.
Oh, such a pleasure. Thank you.
So, curious, what brought you to Australia?
I was actually on tour with a band from Vancouver, Buckman Co. And that was in 2017. And we did a coastal Australian tour. I was singing backing vocals for him. And I loved it so much. I made some really good friends out here in that short amount of time. We were out here for about a month that I decided to come back. Yeah.
And when was that?
I moved out here December 2017. And I originally came out on a tourist visa, just like a one-way ticket, thought, I'll come and hang out for 3 months. Within the first 3 weeks, I knew I was going to stay. So I booked a trip out to Bali just to get out of the country so I could apply for my first year work holiday visa. And then that got accepted and I moved back to Melbourne and I got a job. And it's been, 2 years and 5 months now that I've been living here.
And clearly loving it.
Oh yeah, I love it. Absolutely.
How can you not love Australia?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
How are things right now in terms of life being under lockdown?
It's been pretty challenging. I know that a lot of, myself included, but a lot of musician friends are out of work right now. And when that is your sole income, let's say doing corporate gigs, and that's for a certain group of friends, but that's all, that was their number one income, and that is completely gone. It's quite challenging. That was, I'd say, majority of my income working here, but I was, as I mentioned earlier, I'm also doing music therapy, and thankfully, one of my clients suggested that we continue with online music therapy. So I'm still able to work with them, and we actually use Zoom as well. So it's pretty cool. I'm really fortunate.
Now, the song that we played over the intro here was, of course, your new single, Waiting, which was released on March 23rd. It's a beautiful song. It was originally written, I saw, in 2017, in November, I guess, just before you moved to Australia. What's the story behind the song?
I suppose
there has to be a story to it.
There's definitely, yeah. I mean, it's kind of an amalgamation of a number of different friends and family members who, or just people that are close to me that I've witnessed over the course of their lives having a challenging time expressing their emotions, and really shutting themselves out for fear of ridicule for expressing, vulnerable feelings. And whether that's from societal pressure or parental pressure, who knows exactly what the case, but yeah, I think it was kind of the idea of someone being locked away in a house is very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like metaphoric for that emotional, like, inner child that you've locked away, that you've, sort of abandoned for a time.
Well, you've done a fantastic job. You can certainly get a sense of that story through the song. It really is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Now, just a little bit about your history. Now, originally, you went under the title, your name, Christy McCracken, but recently you've rebranded to Meiwa. Why the rebrand?
Meiwa is my Chinese name that my grandfather gave me. So it's not too far of a stretch in terms of being able to identify it. I actually really, I really hold that name dear, especially because my grandfather gave it to me. But I think that the change was sort of not a coming of age, but a coming of new experience, and moving to a country really all on my own and starting fresh and having that opportunity to start fresh. And I had done a lot of music back home with the Ponderosas and and Natural Flavors and like different bands, but this was the first time that I was really owning doing like solo singer-songwriter stuff, which, yeah, I mean, I have done some band stuff here and I have done some solo stuff there, but I really felt that transition, which I'm really owning now, I find. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, for Canadians in Melbourne specifically, and I understand, of course, right now is unique in that there's not a lot going on, but are there plans for you to get out and perform where Canadians would be able to see you?
Oh, yeah. Before all of this stuff was happening, I was quite active in the music scene here in Melbourne. I was also actually singing backing vocals for an artist called Tando. So that allowed a lot of opportunity to go and do festivals all year round, which was really lovely. And I've done a couple festivals solo as Meiwa. So I think that, winter's coming around, but there are a few winter festivals, and I think that as soon as the lockdown kind of eases up a little bit and there's more opportunity for people to go out and enjoy live music, I'll be right back out there for sure. Yeah, I had a single launch planned here in Melbourne, and I was booking a tour up the east coast of Australia, of course, because of everything right now. But I would like to do, if not for this single, I'm frantically trying to record some more music so that I can have another release and then tie that in with a coastal tour. And yeah, and bring it to North America too. Like, I definitely have plans to come back to Vancouver in next year in June. So I'm hoping to do a couple festivals there and do a little bit of a tour. That's the plan.
Well, it'd be certainly great to see you back here. Now, I'm guessing that would just be a visit, or you're planning to move back, of course, to Australia, or are you planning to come back to Canada at some point?
Well, I've actually just applied for my de facto visa, which is a partner visa, which allows me to stay in the country permanently. So, yeah, the processing time right now is ridiculous. It's like 26 months because of everything that's happening. They've put everything on hold. So, but I mean, I am on a bridging visa right now, and I do intend to stay. I'm not sure for how long, but I'm really enjoying it here, and I'm really, my music therapy is blossoming as well here, which I'm feeling really, really excited about. So I want to push that and push live music as much as I can here.
Now, I'm embarrassed to admit that I hadn't really heard about music therapy before, really. So I'm glad that I've been able to learn a little bit about it through reading some stuff on your webpage, for example. How about in Australia? Is it sort of something that's catching on? Is it a big thing in Australia?
I would say it's a pretty new industry. I think very much like yourself, not many people have heard of music therapy, and in a lot of cases it's not quite considered an allied health like physiotherapy or occupational therapy would be. But there, the industry is definitely making moves for sure, and it is recognized under the NDIS and some government funding, which is really amazing. And so I think it's just going to continue to grow for sure.
Of course, I say that, but at the same time, I recognize, and I think everybody recognizes, that music has a tremendous power to change our mood.
It dates back to the beginning of time, really, music and culture. And yeah, it's universally so uniting. Does that make sense? It really brings together no matter what language you speak or what culture you come from. Or yeah, it's actually interesting. I won't go on a tangent about it, but I think that everyone innately is musical, and I think at some point there was a split where it's like, well, I'm good at this and maybe you shouldn't. But I really think that we all have the ability we all musical innately. Like hearing our mother's heartbeat is the first thing that we experience as humans, so we have rhythm in us. And I think that if that's nurtured, I think, everyone and anyone can be a part of that and can experience that.
Well, we certainly look forward to seeing a lot more from you. Once again, thank you for everything, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks very much, Alan.
And for all those that are watching, thank you very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Until next time.